Tonight, Alaska's main land route, the legendary Alaska Highway, is facing an unprecedented crisis, threatened by not one, but two powerful and relentless forces that could change life in the state for years to come. On one side, Canadian officials in British Columbia are proposing a controversial new toll on U.S. trucks, escalating an already tense trade war with Washington and raising concerns among American transport companies and local businesses. On the other, a massive, fast-moving wildfire is forcing unpredictable and sudden closures of the same highway, leaving drivers stranded and emergency services stretched thin as they battle the flames. This is not just a local issue, it's a dramatic collision of international tension, economic vulnerability, and the raw, destructive power of nature, all converging on a single, vital route. The Alaska Highway is more than just a road, it's a critical lifeline, carrying food, fuel, medicine, and other essential goods, connecting isolated communities and keeping families supplied through harsh winters and long summers. Any disruption, even for a few days, has immediate and far-reaching consequences for Alaskans and American businesses, from empty shelves in Anchorage to lost revenue for small-town shop owners. The dual threats, one political, one natural, expose just how fragile this vital connection truly is, and how quickly it can be put at risk by forces beyond local control. The outcome of this standoff could redefine U.S. Canada relations, impact the price of groceries and everyday goods in Anchorage, and set a precedent for how cross-border crises are handled in the future. This crisis is a stark reminder of our deeply interconnected world, where distant policy decisions and sudden natural disasters can collide on a remote stretch of highway, affecting lives thousands of miles away. As the world watches, the stakes for Alaska's daily life and the future of the U.S. Canada partnership have never been higher, with both sides under pressure to find solutions. The path forward is clouded by smoke, uncertainty, and political maneuvering, leaving Alaska's residents waiting anxiously, hoping for relief and clarity as they face an uncertain tomorrow. To understand the toll proposal, we need to revisit recent U.S.-Canada trade tensions. The U.S. imposed steep tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, citing national security. Canada saw this as an economic attack and retaliated with tariffs on American goods. This tit-for-tat marked a low point in a partnership built on decades of open trade. The fallout hit hardest in provinces like British Columbia, where local economies suffered. Canadian leaders, wary of future surprises, are now seeking new ways to protect their interests. The scars from this trade war remain, fueling mistrust and defensive strategies. This history sets the stage for today's crisis on the Alaska Highway. It explains why British Columbia is willing to consider a move once unthinkable, targeting land access to Alaska. The current standoff is rooted in a deep, unresolved conflict between two close allies. The Alaska Highway has become a bargaining chip in a much larger economic struggle. The stakes are higher than ever for both nations. British Columbia's Premier David Eby has floated a toll on American trucks using the Alaska Highway. This proposal has sparked significant interest and debate, as it represents a bold and strategic move in the ongoing trade tensions between the U.S. and Canada. This isn't about road maintenance, it's a calculated response to the ongoing trade dispute. The toll is seen as a tactical maneuver to address grievances that have been simmering for some time. The proposed toll would target U.S.-bound commercial vehicles, leveraging BC's unique position. By doing so, it aims to exert pressure on American policymakers to reconsider their stance. The Alaska Highway is Alaska's main land artery. Making it more expensive directly impacts the state's supply line. This could lead to increased costs for goods and services in Alaska, affecting everyday life. Eby calls this a contingency plan, meant to pressure Washington for a resolution. He believes that by taking this step, it will bring attention to the issues at hand and encourage dialogue. It's a bold move. Provinces rarely intervene in international disputes. This action highlights the growing frustration and willingness to take unprecedented steps. This signals a new assertiveness from Canadian regional leaders, turning a remote highway into a front line in the trade war. It underscores the importance of regional influence in global matters. The strategy, make the dispute painful for the U.S. by hitting a point of vulnerability. This could potentially lead to a re-evaluation of trade policies. If successful, it could force a breakthrough. If not, it risks deeper retaliation and division. The stakes are high and the outcome is uncertain. Alaska is caught in the crossfire, its lifeline at stake. The impact on local communities could be significant, affecting everything from food supplies to fuel. The message is clear: Canada has powerful, non-tariff options. These measures are a reminder of the tools available in international negotiations. The outcome could reshape U.S. Canada relations for years to come. It could set a precedent for how future disputes are handled. The world is watching this high-stakes gamble unfold. The resolution of this issue could have far-reaching implications beyond the immediate parties involved. As political tensions rise, nature has delivered its own blow: a massive wildfire in northern British Columbia. The Summit Lake wildfire has forced repeated closures of the Alaska Highway, stranding trucks and travelers. Authorities warn the road could close again at any moment, as the fire's behavior is unpredictable. The Alaska Highway's vulnerability is clear: it's at the mercy of both politics and the natural world. For now, the main land connection to Alaska is severed, and the crisis deepens. The Summit Lake wildfire north of Fort Nelson has scorched over 2,600 hectares and is officially out of control. Unusually warm, dry weather and erratic winds have fueled its rapid spread, making firefighting efforts nearly impossible. Evacuation alerts are in place and families are ready to flee at a moment's notice. The fire threatens not just the highway but entire communities and livelihoods. Crews are working around the clock, but the fire's unpredictability makes containment unlikely without a major weather shift. Aircraft monitor the blaze, but direct attacks are limited by its intensity. The main strategy now: protect lives and property, and wait for rain. The wildfire's relentless march is a stark reminder of nature's power over our infrastructure. The Alaska Highway's dual threats are shaking Alaska's fragile supply chain. While most goods arrive by sea or air, the highway is vital for certain cargo and economic stability. A new toll would raise costs for businesses and consumers, while wildfire closures cause immediate delays and spoilage. Construction projects and small businesses are hit hardest, facing uncertainty and financial loss. Alaska's unique geography means it relies on routes passing through another country. When those are threatened, the whole state feels it. This crisis exposes the risks of depending on a single corridor. If the highway becomes unreliable or expensive, businesses may be forced to rethink logistics with costly consequences. Not all communities are accessible by port, making the highway essential. Alaska's supply chain needs urgent diversification to withstand future shocks. Experts agree. This crisis is both complex and precarious, with far-reaching consequences that extend well beyond the immediate region. The situation is evolving rapidly, and every decision made now could have ripple effects for years to come. Dr. Amelia Thorne, a leading political analyst, calls the toll coercive diplomacy, a risky move that could escalate tensions between the two countries. She warns that such tactics, while sometimes effective in the short term, often backfire and create long-term distrust. In Washington, officials may interpret this as a form of economic blackmail, heightening the risk of a deeper diplomatic freeze. Lawmakers are already debating possible responses, ranging from sanctions to countermeasures, but none come without significant risks. Supply chain analyst Marcus Cole warns that even a seemingly small toll adds millions in costs, driving up prices for Alaskans and straining businesses that rely on cross-border trade. The impact is felt not just in Alaska, but across industries in both countries. The uncertainty alone is costly, delaying investments and projects as companies wait for clarity. Investors are growing increasingly cautious, and some are already pulling back from planned developments. Meanwhile, the ongoing wildfire in Canada complicates the U.S. response. It's hard to retaliate while Canada battles a disaster affecting both nations. The environmental crisis adds another layer of urgency, as both countries must coordinate resources and aid. This coincidence could push both sides toward diplomacy, as they share an interest in keeping the highway open for relief efforts and economic stability. Cooperation may be the only viable path forward. The crisis exposes Alaska's connection to the lower 48 as a critical geopolitical pressure point, highlighting vulnerabilities that have long been overlooked. For decades, this vital link relied on stable U.S. Canada relations. Now, that stability can no longer be taken for granted. The trust that once underpinned cross-border cooperation is showing signs of strain. Both nations must resolve trade issues diplomatically. Using Alaska's Lifeline as leverage is a dangerous game that could have unintended consequences for millions of people. The consensus among experts and officials is clear. A diplomatic solution is urgently needed to restore stability and prevent further escalation. Alaska's future depends on it. The livelihoods of thousands and the well-being of entire communities. hang in the balance as leaders search for a way forward. The world is watching for a resolution, as the outcome here could set a precedent for how nations handle similar crises in the future. If you're planning to travel to or from Alaska by land, flexibility and preparation are essential. Check the official Drive BC website for real-time updates. Conditions change by the hour. Don't rely on GPS apps, they may be outdated. Be ready for long delays, bring extra fuel, food, water, and medications. Have a backup plan for accommodation and unexpected overnight stays. Consider the Stewart-Cassiar Highway as an alternative, but verify its status. It's remote and can also be affected by wildfires. For non-essential travel, the best advice is to postpone your trip until the highway is safely reopened. Patience and caution are key to a safe journey. The Alaska highway crisis is a powerful symbol of the fragile U.S. Canada relationship. The proposed toll and the wildfire expose Alaska's vulnerability and the importance of political goodwill. When diplomacy fails, the consequences are immediate and disruptive. The wildfire shows that nature ignores borders, affecting both nations equally. This shared challenge is an opportunity for cooperation and building resilience. Escalating the dispute risks harming both economies, with Alaskans suffering most. The solution lies in renewed diplomacy and joint management of cross-border threats. The future of the Alaska Highway, and the partnership it represents, depends on choosing cooperation over conflict.